What's up, Canes fans? Peter Ariz here alongside D Money, bringing you a special edition podcast here as the Canes stay hot in the transfer portal. This time, picking up Louisville transfer Jaylin Alderman, linebacker, who had a big season last year for the Cardinals, and another guy that coached Derek Nicholson at linebacker coach, co-defensive coordinator at Miami, brings over, has a lot of familiarity with D. What are your thoughts on this pickup?
I love the pickup. It's commitment powered by Anajar Living Accident Attorneys, 1-800-747-FREE, 1-800-747-3733. I love this pickup. And people are talking about, what about the young players, this and that. Here's the bottom line with Jaylin Alderman, the linebacker that just committed to Miami, the Louisville transfer. This is a player that started every single game last year on a Louisville defense that was better than ours. Played well against Florida State. Played well all year. You look at the numbers. This is 6'1", 230. He actually doesn't look as big as he's listed. I'm curious what his actual size is. Long arms. But this is someone who started every game for Louisville, 58 tackles, 7 tackles for loss, 1.5 sacks. And we have young players. We have Popo Aguirre, Marcellus Pulliam, guys that people want to see, right? Last year, Miami played 4 linebackers over 370 snaps. Mawanoa, Wesley Basaint, KJ Cloyd, who was a backup at Louisville and transferred and played well for us, and then also Corey Flagg. Corey Flagg's gone. KJ Cloyd is off, hopefully to the pros. We'll see if he'll be able to stick around. And then we bring back Basaint and Mawanoa. So that's a lot of snaps that were freed up. There's opportunities for multiple linebackers to play. Multiple linebackers will rotate. You saw the positive impact that KJ Cloyd had in our defense. That was a good pickup. Alderman is a better player. And if you watching his highlights now from Valdosta, great program, obviously a legendary program right there on that Florida-Georgia border. Valdosta, this guy was the best player there, was a 3-star player for Louisville. Derek Nicholson, Miami's linebackers coach, identified him, ended up being a starter, had a walk-off pick 6 against UCF his freshman year. And as you watch the highlights, you see this is a true linebacker. This is not a defensive end linebacker hybrid. This is not a run and hit, just size speed guy. This is a guy that has been playing linebacker in his purest form basically his whole career. He is a read and react guy. He knows how to see it. He knows how to attack it. He's instinctive. He's high energy. You watch his film in college. He's getting in fights, not getting flags, but, he's getting chippy and bringing a lot of juice to the defense. He has very good awareness, run and the pass, makes quick decisions, sound tackler, just a pure linebacker, not a lot of projection with what he does from high school and what he's done at Louisville as a starter on a defense that, by the way, was better than Miami's defense last year. So you're taking a quality starter that he did not want to lose from a defense that beat you last year and bringing him over to the Miami Hurricanes to join a rotation that should be one of the better linebacker rotations in the conference with Mawanoa, Basaint, and the young players.
And it's interesting, D, because looking at us, I'll pull up his recruiting profile here. Again, this was a Derek Nicholson, evaluation, so to speak. But as I pull this up here, you see he committed to Louisville in July 13th, 2020. But his other offers, he had App State, Kent State, Jacksonville State, FIU, Middle Tennessee State. So it's interesting to me that this was a guy that Nicholson evaluated early and, obviously turned out to be a good player.
Yeah, a great eval. Yeah, Appalachia State does a good job with linebackers evals. I think you might have been trying to get one of them for
I was working with a guy, DeMarco Jackson, who was a 5th-round pick to the Saints out of there a couple years ago. They've had a couple guys, Akeem Davis Gaither, I believe, and then a couple other guys as well. So
you have Nicholson identifying a underrated linebacker. He put those huddle clips back on because they're very interesting to me to watch this guy in high school.
They were almost done. That's why.
Okay, put his junior film on. So this guy is somebody who, again, you watch his junior film, you watch his senior film. he's playing linebacker. He's not rushing off the edge like you see with so much linebacker film. He's not playing a different position. He's playing linebacker. Kind of like Corey Flagg, but the difference is this guy's 3 inches taller than Corey Flagg, longer arms, just a more physically ready player. So it's almost like you're replacing a Corey Flagg who you lost and did some good things. Remember the Clemson game where he won the game? You're replacing Corey Flagg with a more physically talented version, somebody who knows what he's doing, knows Nicholson, knows how Nicholson teaches, and is a great example for the young players. But at the same time, he's not coming there to teach these guys. He's coming in there to beat FSU, to beat the top teams in the ACC, to beat Florida. And if you're playing, again, first game of the season, we're talking about, everybody says, what about the young players? What about the young players? Okay. First game of the season, you're playing Florida. Do you want necessarily some guy hitting the wrong gap and learning on the job and Florida busts a 70-yard touchdown? Do you want those kind of plays right away? Or do you want someone that knows what they're doing on the field and is a proven good player on a good defense this year? That's what to me, you have Cam Ward. You are trying to win the ACC. We need to beat Florida. We need to beat Florida State. You're going to do that with guys like Alderman. And by the way, if the young guys come in and start chipping into his snaps, that's a good thing because they have earned the trust of Coach Nicholson. They have outplayed a guy that is already a good ACC player. So again, this to me is a huge, huge commitment for a defense that leaving spring, we talked about it, Peter. I said, look, our offense is going to be real good. Added Damian Martinez, added pieces to make it even better. The defense needed some work, in my opinion. And adding this player, Alderman, solidifies a linebacker core where you still have young talent with Aguirre, with Pullen. Darius Hayes, I think, is probably more of a year away. He'll play on special teams. Pruitt, Bobby Washington, those guys play a different position at the SAM. As far as inside linebackers, box linebackers, you were talking about tackle box linebackers, I should say. You're talking about Mauanoa, Wesley Basaint, now Alderman, then Popo Aguirre probably right there. Those four are going to give you a very strong core to beat Florida this year, to beat Florida State this year. Louisville was better than us on defense. I can't stress that enough. Go watch the Florida State game where this guy was flying around, very quick to identify, his ability to identify screens, to identify quick passes, to shoot gaps quickly. That stands out. And again, just the juice and overall energy he brings to a defense. I think we lack a little bit of a tone setter. Mauanoa is a very physical player, more of a quiet player. We don't have that safety that's going to bust someone's head. This guy is very active, both in terms of being around the ball, chirping, pumping guys up, just bringing energy. That's what stands out to me when I watch his Louisville film, the energy and the instincts. I think both of those things are needed. Alderman brings that to you.
Yeah, and he was their fourth. I mean, I'm trying to see if he was their fourth or fifth leading tackler last year, but ton of production. So how can you complain about adding a guy like that to the roster?
And a three-down player as well. He did not leave the field a lot on third down. So you're talking about someone who can cover, somebody that knows what they're doing against the pass, someone that you don't need to remove. And let's say you bring Mauanoa as a blitzer, which he did quite a bit. You want someone behind him that knows what's going on in their zones and is not going to leave the defense hanging out to dry just by being, a little behind the play. This guy's on the spot. So I think what you're seeing here is last year you relied a lot on KJ Cloyd. You relied a lot on Corey Flagg. This guy is significantly better than those players as your third, fourth linebacker. And KJ Cloyd, again, who was a backup at Louisville. This guy was a starter. KJ Cloyd, he had great stats last year. I'm pulling up KJ Cloyd's stats just so folks can understand what he brought. KJ Cloyd, again, who did not play while Alderman played. This guy had 44 tackles, 6.5 tackles for loss, 2 sacks. So that's KJ Cloyd in our defense. I think with Alderman, you would expect him to improve significantly on those numbers. Wesley Basaint had a great spring. He did a lot of nice things. Mauanoa, we know, is one of the top linebackers in the conference. Plus Aguirre, very talented guy. Everybody wanted. So now you have a group of 4 that I think is going to be very, very strong in the linebacker room. You signed good linebackers, but look, Malik Bryant's playing rush end. Pruitt and Bobby Washington are playing that Sam linebacker, which is more of like a safety linebacker hybrid. And then Darius Hayes is going to take some time. So to me, yes, you have young talent, but not enough young talent that you can not bring in a player that can help you in the ACC, which is what Alderman brings to the table.
And you mentioned the fact that he's a 3-down linebacker, or at least at the college level. For Lance Guidry, for any defensive coordinator, that is the most valuable thing in the world. That's always the biggest thing you hear when guys transition from college to obviously the NFL level. If they can't play 3 downs, their value is significant. They're a package player. Their value is significantly lowered. And it's the same thing. If you can play all 3 downs at the college level, schematically, it makes things much easier on a defensive coordinator.
No question about it. That is what he brings. Someone you don't have to worry about. Nicholson, again, people are like, what about the young players and what about this? Nicholson knows what he has and knows what he needs, and he knows what Coach Guidry needs. And I think Alderman, like you said, you don't have to worry about him. You can trust him on 3rd down. You can trust him on 1st and 2nd down. He is plug and play, and it's not someone you have to protect. Is he going to have the size and speed necessarily of a Mawanoa or an Aguirre or a Wesley Visaint? Probably not, although I think looks plenty athletic, long arms, solid tackler. But is he going to be a missile that just, wow, this guy's 250 pounds, running 4.6 and just knocking people out of the park? I don't see that with him, but I do see a guy that gets guys on the ground, and I see a guy who gets there fast and runs well and plays even faster because of his instincts. So the ability to not worry about this spot, I can promise you, Coach Guidry signed off on this move. He wants veterans in this defense that can play and help this defense be excellent this year, because it was not last year. It was improved last year. It was not excellent. There's a level it can go. Some of that's going to be recruiting, and some of that's just going to be expediting the process by bringing in players that are trustworthy, that are smart, that are where they are supposed to be on the field. When you have a front 7 that is being radically altered up front in the transfer portal, as we'll be talking about all week, I'm sure, you want linebackers that can go run, find the ball, and bring the ball carrier down to the ground. And I think that is what Jaylin Alderman brings to the table.
Another big pickup for Mario Cristobal and his staff here is Jaylin Alderman is officially a Miami Hurricane. Keep it locked here on Canes Insight for the continuing news in the transfer portal. D, any last thoughts here?
Look at the message that the coaches are sending to the fans. We have Cam Ward for 1 year. We're going to get him a running back in Damian Martinez. We're going to get receivers. We're going to get defensive linemen that can help us win right now. And now with Alderman, we're getting a linebacker that can help us win right now. They're trying to win in the window of Cam Ward. They're going to try to win in the future, obviously, as well. But they're making a clear statement that this team is going to be in the ACC title picture. They're taking a guy that was playing in the ACC championship game and playing well this past year, bring him right to our team, and allow us to get closer to that ACC title and to that playoff. So excited about this move and what this move represents as far as the mentality of the coaching staff.
All right. Well, this is another pickup here for this staff, and probably not the last. Keep it locked on Canes Insight, as we will keep you updated on all of the happenings. Go Canes.
Go Canes.